A BC court has just found a father guilty of family violence for calling his daughter a she, because that's what she is. So I think it's safe to say this country is now completely falling apart, guys. You may recall just last month I reported on this. Court rules father cannot refer to 14-year-old daughter as a girl, and he must comply with her transition. Well, now it's just come out that he's being gagged and found guilty of family violence for calling his trans daughter a she. This just out from the Federalist. British Columbia's Supreme Court declared a father guilty of family violence for giving interviews to publications, including the Federalist, in which he used female pronouns for his daughter. And joining me on the line to help break this one down, help us understand just what the implications of this case are, is our East Coast correspondent, Leigh Stuart. Leigh, thanks for joining us. I mean, it was only a month ago now that we were covering this case with the father who was being forced to go along with his daughter's transition, and even with the testosterone boosters he didn't want the doctors giving her. You know, they forced it on him. Now it's come out that he's being basically charged with what do they call it? Family violence. I mean, what does this say about the state of the Canadian courts, you know, right now, and the current, just how so-called trans rights are playing out in Canada? I mean, what does this really say about our country?
It says that our Supreme Court now sides with mental illness, is the precedent being set here. In Ontario, we have Bill 89 that says that if you don't go along with your child's reassignment, that you could have your child taken away, or you could be going to jail, just as we're seeing here. I don't know if there are similar laws in BC, or if now we have come to the point now of, you don't need a law. Now the court is just going to side with your 14-year-old child who's having a temper tantrum in having an imagination and not forgetting about it. It's crazy. Canadian courts now side with mental illness.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. They call it gender dysphoria. But really, as we've proven and shown statistically, a lot of times these children grow out of these phases, which a lot of time is what it is. Like, little girls go through tomboy phases a lot of the times, and they literally grow out of it. But that's not going to be possible when you're pushing these, puberty blockers on them and trying to convince them to go ahead and get the surgery and to get the testosterone boosters. At some point, it almost becomes irreversible, so it's incredibly dangerous. Now, this article from the Federalist goes on to say here, last week, Justice Francisca Mazzari of the Supreme Court of British Columbia, Canada, declared a father guilty of family violence against his 14-year-old daughter on the sole basis that he engaged in expressions of rejection of her gender identity. So these expressions, as they call it, revolved entirely around his polite refusal to refer to his daughter as a boy in private, and his steady choice to affirm that she is a girl in public. And we have another article here from the Post-Millennial, and it points out she has some statements that she issued here saying, she testified saying, "I love my father. I want to have his name as my middle name. When I was born, I was given the middle name," and it's redacted, "as the female version of my dad's name. But I cannot be around him unless he respects who I am and my gender identity. It messes with my head, and I cannot stand him berating me all the time. I'm concerned for my physical and emotional safety around my dad and very worried what he will do." Leigh, this is literally a 14-year-old child who has managed to convince the courts to take her side and to just disband this father. Really, Leigh, I see the destruction of the family unit happening here, and it's sad to see that the BC courts are the ones pushing for this. I mean, am I missing something here?
If you are, I am too, because you know, now the state is taking control over children. This father literally has no say in this child's life, or you know, this is an actual case of the father implementing facts and the daughter son having feelings and not wanting to hear the facts. I mean, you know, the father's not placating to this child's imagination or what this child wants to believe. Maybe this child's watching too much YouTube and is going along with the trend setting that's going on YouTube right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's crazy. And will this child grow out of it? There's actually 5 whistleblower doctors in the UK who have just quit at a transgender clinic, who feel that there are children having live experiments being put on them by implementing, you know, these beta blockers and you know, this reassignment surgery. It's a live experiment on children. So they have actually quit in protest because they don't feel that these children have been diagnosed correctly with gender dysphoria. It's crazy.
Misdiagnoses happen all the time. In fact, you reminded me, I exposed this in a video not long ago. I'll pull it up here. It was titled, "Are You Transgender? Mental Health Expert Exposed." And in this video, I show there's a so-called mental health expert who deals with children suffering from gender dysphoria. But what she does is she tries to encourage them to take that leap. You know, kids who are on the fence, not so sure if this is what they want, she encourages them to, you know, be brave and courageous and go ahead and get that surgery. Don't worry about what your parents are going to say. Don't worry about what society is going to say. Do what is right for you, little 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 10-year-old. That's the scary thing, is it doesn't seem to matter. And the Canadian government is really perpetuating this and making it much worse. I have something else here I want to share with you guys. Take a look at this. Wasn't that long ago that we saw this. Service Canada employees were asked to avoid using the terms Mr. and Mrs. as well as mother and father. The family minister defended the decision to ask its employees to adopt gender-neutral language when interacting with the public, as members of the opposition mocked the policy mercilessly. According to a directive issued to managers and team leaders, employees of Service Canada are asked to use gender-neutral or gender-inclusive language to avoid, quote, portraying a perceived bias towards a particular sex or gender. They're so dancing around this politically correct culture that they're afraid to, you know, misgender people, and they don't even want to call a parent a mom or a dad. They just want to say you're just parents. Let's not forget the fact that Canada changed the national anthem. "O Canada" is now officially gender neutral after bill receives royal assent. This, of course, is when they changed the lyrics from "In All Our Sons" command to "In All of Us" command to be more gender inclusive. Really, Leigh, the problem here, in my view, is stemming from the government. We have an SJW feminist prime minister who managed to somehow infiltrate our political system here. And now his ideologies are really starting to trickle on out throughout society. And we're starting to see it affect fathers of little 14-year-old girls, and he can't do the parenting that he needs to do. So I don't know, man. I don't know what else to say. It begs the question, where are we going in Canadian society, and how do we turn this one around? You know, how do we get people to stand up for the rights of parents and to reject this nonsense from the government? Do you have any suggestions?
Shout out to this father who refuses to play into this child's mental illness. You know, I applaud him for standing his ground, and you know, probably will see this as far as he can take it, as far as I'm concerned, and I encourage that. I refuse to play into this whole self-censorship, and that's what they want. They want us not saying what we think, self-censorship and rethinking. Is this a guy or a girl, or what am I supposed to what am I supposed to call this person, or just not call them that at all, in the fear of offending somebody. I mean, who is not offended at some point or another? You could offend somebody just looking at them the wrong way. Is that we're just all be blindfolded eventually? Is that where we're going? I refuse to play into this. I will call Bradley Manning Bradley Manning. I will sing the old national anthem. I will not sing the reformed one. I'm just not going to play into this mental illness. And I encourage everyone to do the same.
That's the absolute correct attitude. It's been incremental moves that have gotten here after all. So we have to push back every incremental step that they take as they take them, whether that be with the national anthem, whether that be with rejecting Bill 89, rejecting Bill C-16, or standing up for the rights of these parents. Let's call it what it is. He's a dad of a little girl who's quite clearly confused. We need the courts and the state to just completely stay out of it and let the parents just be parents, for crying out loud. So folks, please click the thumbs up button and share this video. We need to help this guy. I mean, we need to get the word out that this is happening to parents here in British Columbia. And if it can happen to him, guys, it can happen to you. What happens when all of a sudden your daughter decides that they are confused about their gender, and all of a sudden child protection services are knocking on your door, and if you refuse to call your little Sally Billy, then you'll be hauled away? Guys, it's absolutely ridiculous. So we have to stand up for these injustices as they happen now. So once again, please click the thumbs up button, share this video, let people know this is in fact going on. Leigh, I want to thank you so much for taking the time today to help us break this one down. It's incredibly important. So once again, folks, thanks for watching. Share this with the people who you think need to see it the most. Click the thumbs up button. It really does help with YouTube's algorithms that are designed to stop this type of info from being seen. And stay tuned. We will have more video reports coming soon. This is Dan Dix and Leigh Stuart reporting for Press for Truth. We all want truth. The truth will set you free.